Today we're going to talk about what your focus should be and how to achieve your goals so that you're successful in your math or stats class. So first, think about, why are you in college? What could be your reason for being in college? Perhaps there's some parent pressure. Perhaps it's just been expected that you do that. Perhaps you want to get some kind of credential or degree so that you can get a particular job. Perhaps you're looking to get an education or learn some new things. You'll find if you're just looking to get that degree so you can get a job, if that's all your only focus for college, you may just end up focusing on your grades in every class. I've got to get a certain grade so I can move on, so I can get the degree, so I can get the job. Just got to get the grade. If you find you're focusing on learning new things that are going to help you now and in your career and in your life, you're going to get, first of all, you're going to get a lot more out of your time in college, and you still will end up with that degree. Think about it. You deserve to get so much more than just grades or just a degree from your college education. You are putting in so much time, so much effort, so much money into this college education. You deserve to get a lot more than just grades. You deserve a lot of learning. So what the researchers find is there's really two kinds of focus, and sometimes you'll see different words, but there's this learning approach, focus, and this learning approach is going to help you ask yourself, what is the most I can learn? That tends to result in higher grades. There's the low grade or the focus on grades approach, and people tend to ask themselves, whether consciously or subconsciously, what is the least I can get by with? And that tends to result in low grades. So think about your focus. Your focus should be more on the, what is it that I can learn, and what's the most I can learn from this course, from this program? So you've got to change your attitude from, what's the least I can do to pass this course? What will be on the test? What do I have to memorize? What shortcuts can I use to prepare for the test? All those things are important, at least the last three, but that shouldn't be your focus. Your attitude should be looking at, what's the most I can learn from this class? What are the lesson objectives or outcomes? And that might be something that your instructor posts or tells you. It might be something in the book, but what is it that you're supposed to learn? What can I do to best learn the important material in this lesson? So you figure that out. So that's your attitude. That's what it should be to get the most out of your education. Once you have that attitude of, well, how can I get the most out of my learning? Now it's time to set some goals. And so there are different kinds of goals that you could set. There are short-term goals, maybe what's happening in the next few hours, next couple days, next couple weeks. There's these midterm or medium length goals. What's going to happen the next several weeks or months? Perhaps till now and the end of the semester. That could be considered a midterm goal. What are some long-term goals? What do you want to get your degree in? That could be a long-term goal. What kind of career do you want to have? What are family goals? And there's all kinds of goals you can come up with. But you need to have the focus on learning and getting as much as you can out of your education to really make those goals work for you. So the goals you can set, there's all kinds. And we're going to talk a little bit about SMART goals. You may have heard of those. And each of the letters stands for something. So S stands for specific. M stands for measurable. A, attainable. R, relevant. And T, time-based. And so is this something specific, and why do you care about it? How is it affecting you, either short-term, long-term, midterm, whatever type of goal you have? And when are you going to know if you're successful? How will you know if you're successful, and when will you know? So all those things are important. Let's just go through one and talk about one. You should have access to this worksheet on Pilot to help you set your own SMART goals. But the S, let's say, what do you want to accomplish? Who needs to be included? When do you want to do this? Why is this a goal? So all those things you can ask yourself. Perhaps I just want to learn quadratic equations. I want to learn as much as I possibly can about quadratic equations. Maybe I'm in college algebra this semester. So how will I measure that? So that's the M. How will I measure if I've successfully met the goal? Perhaps I will know if I've successfully met the goal if I can solve 80% of the problems. Is that achievable? Well, if I had said 100% of the problems, no mistakes, perfect, I know for me that's not achievable. But 80% probably is. You're looking at, do I have the skills required? Well, I can maybe factor most quadratic equations. Maybe I don't know how to complete the square or graph. So how can I get some assistance? I could see my instructor or work with a group, go to some of those online resources like Khan Academy, math.com, whatever. What's my motivation for this goal? Well, perhaps if I can solve quadratic equations, it's going to make it easier to solve problems with more difficult types of equations. Perhaps it will help me be successful in this class so I can be successful in business calc or applied calc or trig or whatever's next. And relevant, the R. Why am I setting this goal now? Is it aligned with overall objectives? Well, perhaps it's relevant because you know you're learning it now in class. Your teacher has said it's important, and so your goal is to learn as much as you can about it. You know you're going to be tested over it. Maybe test 3 is why it's relevant for you. I'm not sure. And then time bound. What's the deadline? Well, perhaps it's a specific test. So by test 3, I can do that. By the final exam, I can do that. By the time the course ends or I go into the next course, I can do those things. And so once you've written down all those things to help you, then you actually want to write a goal. And in this case, the goal might be, I will learn enough about quadratic equations that I will be able to get 80% or higher on test 3. That's a great goal. It incorporates all those things I just discussed. Another thing you need to look at is what are the obstacles you might face in trying to complete your goals. Obstacles that many students have, maybe they have too many hours at work. Maybe they're distracted by their phone. I know that's common for adults, kids, college students, all ages anymore. That's a tough one. You've got things to do and you get distracted by your phone and suddenly an hour's gone on your phone. Perhaps you have family obligations of whatever sort that is. Maybe you don't know how to ask for help. Those are all obstacles. You can come up with other ones for your particular case, and I will ask you to do that soon. But once you've identified the obstacles, now identify the resources or the things that might be able to help you as you try to complete your goals. If there's things you don't know or don't know how to ask, talk to your instructor, talk to the others in class, go to the Math Learning Center, go online to some of those resources. Maybe if it's the phone's the obstacle, schedule time, actually write down from 8 to 11. I know that's really good studying time for me. I will not use my phone. I will turn it off, put it in the other room, whatever. Do that for yourself. Make that a resource. Maybe you have work issues, so you're going to ask your manager at work for different hours, better hours. You know, a test is coming up. Maybe you work less hours that week or the week before or whatever, so you have more time to go over and study for it. Family obligations, you may need to ask for help from family and friends for that. Being successful in college takes a lot of time and effort and activities. Another thing that can help you be successful in meeting your goals is creating to-do lists. Perhaps you're writing about time on task. I'm going to spend 2 hours today practicing my homework, doing homework problems. I'm going to meet with my group for 2 hours. I'm going to go to office hours. I'm going to drop the kids off at the babysitter for 3 hours so I can get things done around the house. Whatever you need to do, to-do lists really help. It gives you a great feeling of satisfaction to be able to cross things off. But again, these are almost like very short-term types of goals. They don't have to be exactly like that because you don't have to write all that stuff down. But set something that's realistic that you know you can get done in that day, in that week, whatever your time frame is. All these things can help you to set those goals and be successful. Finally, taking responsibility for your learning starts with the right focus and the right goals. Successful students take responsibility for their learning. You can be a successful student. Follow some of these steps to take responsibility for your learning.